working on those two books is the best creative thing I've ever done. I'm always cheering on because I'm a Manchester United fan, but also a bit more now after our experience working together.
Now I kind of wanted to ask you a bit about how cool it is for you to be also an author as well, because I remember correctly, you co-wrote some of the books for Marcus Rashford. Was it some of them or both of them, the two books that he's got?
He's got three.
Got three books. Okay.
So I co-wrote his non-fiction books, You Are a Champion and You Can Do It. And he's also got a fiction book called The Breakfast Club Adventures.
How did that come about for you? Was it as simple as he asked you or someone found you? I was like, oh,
it was November 20. So I remember scoring the hat trick against RB Leipzig. So that's October 2020, November 2020.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call from my book agent, brilliant Becky Thomas. And I thought, this is it. My book agent's going to sack me now because I've not written a book in ages because I'm too busy playing PlayStation and going up and down the country watching football games. And she messaged me.
Priorities
saying,
right there.
And she messaged me saying that Marcus Rashford was interested in writing a book. And would I be interested in putting my name forward to being a possible collaborator? I was sort of, half eating breakfast, and I went, well, you've got to buy a ticket to win the raffle. I said, yeah, I'd love to apply for that. I applied for it, thinking, if there were 50 people that applied for it, I'll be number 52. I think I once sat down and just looked at all of the members of staff at the Athletic, and I thought, wow, all these people have written way more books than me. I'm, novice Carl Anka's never going to get selected. And I think 2 weeks later, I got a text message going, "It's you." So I beg your pardon. And so what I did next was I created basically I created a Google Doc on my laptop and made almost a custom Wikipedia page.
Oh wow!
Of Marcus Rashford.
How long did that take you to do?
So I call it a custom Wikipedia page. So it looks like a Wikipedia page in the end. So it's early life, playing career, social media links, things outside of football, common interview questions he gets asked all the time, common responses to certain interview questions. And this document in the end was 4,000 words long.
Yeah.
A lot of it was informed by an amazing piece Danny Taylor did about Rashford that came out in late 2020.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I think I know a good chunk of Marcus Rashford's life. Being a Manchester United fan means I remember quite a few of the goals he scored as well.
Did you use the same process that you did when you were at Southampton, when you were learning a bit about from the historians? So did you go to some of his former coaches, some of his former mentors, some of his former teammates as well to kind of create that Wikipedia page?
No, yes and no, because it's so when you're researching a football club, when I researched Southampton as a football club, that was very much how do I write a number of different articles at once?
Yeah.
So the Southampton document I made had stuff like who are the biggest rivals and why?
Yeah.
Who are the rivals that they don't really consider rivals and why? Who are the club legends and why? Who are the people that the outsiders won't know are club legends and why? Who are the players that have become punchlines essentially? What do Southampton fans really think of Ali Dia? So that was that sort of document because I was trying to write more than one style of article. When you're trying to figure out categories as well, so not only was it Southampton fans really like Franny Benali, I was also going, what would you do if you interviewed Franny Benali?
Yeah,
and that's how I was breaking stuff down. Whereas the Rashford document was very much going, if you're going to write a book with him, you're going to talk to him a lot.
Yeah.
And that document had had a big section on what is Rashford like in interviews.
Yeah.
What are the questions that he talks about a lot, what are the questions he doesn't. So there was a little note in there I had in my document of just don't ask him about the PSG penalty. Because he doesn't, if you ask him about it, he'll say, yeah, it was a good moment, but we lost the game against Barcelona. And he's just he doesn't really get too excited about that penalty anymore. And there were certain things of do ask him about this. And a lot of those things had nothing to do with football. like, so my approach to interviewing is a bit different from how a traditional football interview goes. And then I knew it would have to be a bit different if we were trying to write a children's book together. So the document was done. We had a sort of Zoom meeting. I always describe it a bit like a first date or a play date, where you sort of, do you ever have that thing in primary school where your parent tried setting you up with like their friend's kid?
Oh my God.
To like hang out for a bit. So it was a bit like that. So it was me, my agent.
That happened to my brother and a girl, and that's how they ended up getting married. Childhood sweethearts right there as well.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
So if my brother and my sister-in-law listen to this message, yeah, Carl Anka knows exactly how you feel.
So I'm on a Zoom call with Marcus, and it's not just me and Marcus on the call, but it's also book people and some representatives, some people of Marcus's team. And I'm on this call. I think the plan was that the conversation was going to last maybe 20 minutes, but Marcus is just so engaging and so calm, and was just really open from the off.
So like you, basically, you're very calm, engaging.
Oh shucks, no, he's on a different level. And yeah, so what should have been I think 20 to 30-minute conversation ended up lasting for I think an hour, and we just were off to the races book-wise. And yeah, I think we got the first book, You're a Champion, finished in 3 months, which is a bit ridiculous. Books aren't meant to be written that quickly.
Not at all. People spend years writing books, and you did it in 3 months. Easy.
He's a really engaging talker. He had a very, very clear idea of what he wanted the book to look like. He was really hands-on in terms of interactions, and there was a part, I want to say around February, March, where in January, Manchester United go joint top of the league,
and he scores the winner against Wolves in that January.
And I'm just going, this is incredible, this is amazing. And he was very generous with his time. I want to make it very clear, I wasn't taking out training time.
He was fighting the government as well.
He was, fighting is perhaps a strong word for it. He was,
okay, we'll rephrase it.
I'd say he was encouraging the government to reconsider their position.
Encouraging.
And he was also encouraging members of the British public to help him do something. And I think something that's very interesting to me about Marcus is that when he talks about things he's not really sure of, he will often use I, whereas when he believes he understands what needs to be done and he needs help, he's very insistent on using we. And he's always very strong in the community. He's always stressing on the collective. And whatever you think of Boris Johnson, he changed his mind.
Yeah.
Which is something not many powerful people often do anymore. So that was also going on at the same time.
It shows how powerful Marcus Rashford is.
I think it shows how powerful the British public can be when they come together and decide to do something.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Marcus would tell you as well. He's very thankful of his background and what happened and the people that helped him get there. But I don't think he would consider what he did as something he did, but more something a lot of people around him helped create and do.
My face doesn't say it, but I'm awfully touched by that story and how you got to be a part of that story as well, in terms of how it was all happening around the same time. Manchester United were coming back into somewhat of a form. Marcus Rashford was encouraging the government to change their position as well. And the fact that you were just literally on the other end of a Zoom call because of the whole pandemic, just chatting to him about a brand new book as well, which was incredible, really incredible to hear. And in a way, you probably are, but I would feel so proud of being just associated with Marcus Rashford at the time in the way that you were, because he was probably in such a great run of form. He was in such a established mindset as well. It must have been crazy to have been around him at the time, Carl.
There was a point when we were having a Zoom chat and I apologized for laughing. And I said, I'm really sorry that I'm laughing. I asked him the question. I think I asked him something about what books did he read growing up, and he said, none of them. really?
Yeah.
And I went, okay, I understand. And I said, what about TV guides, magazines, newspapers around the house? He goes, no, no. He goes, we didn't really have any of that. We didn't really have um, the resources to have to buy a weekly TV guide on the weekly shop and whatnot. And he said to me, the first book he can ever really remember reading that wasn't on the school curriculum was when he was 17 and it looked like he was going to make the Manchester United first team.
Yeah.
He a member of United's academy gave him the book Relentless, which is written by Tim Grover. If you've seen The Last Dance, Tim Grover is in it because he's Michael Jordan's personal trainer. So Tim Grover is the person that tells you about the flu game, and he says actually it's the pizza game, and he also describes a bit about when Jordan comes back after baseball, he's too top heavy, so they have to reconstruct his body again and give him more power on his legs. So Relentless is a self-help book all about being relentless and being a sort of, he says there's three kinds of people, and the top tier are people who describes as cleaners. They're the ones that get stuff done and clean up. And they have the keys to open lots of doors. And it was very much Mark was, wow, this is amazing. And I remember he said he was reading at 17 and he went, I felt really bad because if I started reading earlier, I'd been so much more ahead in life. And I started laughing because I went, Marcus, you're 23. You've already won an FA Cup. You've already won a Europa League. You're doing absolutely fine. And I apologized. And I said, I'm really sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at, I said, I think I described it as I'm laughing at the almost incredulity of it and how humble you are. And he's got an amazing ability for lateral thinking.
Yeah.
So it's not just that's a target I have in mind. He's also able to look left and right and go, how do I get all these people left and right me to help get to that target as well? Which I think, I'm in my 30s and only recently started thinking that way. And I think I only recently started thinking that way because I started talking to Marcus Rashford. And I think there was I think maybe the only time we had I wouldn't even call it a disagreement. I think the only time where he told me something I went, really? Was when he was a child, also when he was 6 or 7, his older brother would take him to Holyhedge Park in Manchester, and they played football in the park all the time. And his brother would say, you can play football with anyone who comes along and wants to play football with the ball, but you can't play with anyone who rocks up wearing football boots. Because Marcus was pretty undersized as a child, and his older brother was afraid of him getting hurt. Was very much like, I don't want anyone stamping on you in these studs. So if anyone rocked up playing football boots, Marcus had to go stand on the sideline and just watch this game play. And Marcus said that was when he learned how to do keepy uppies a lot, because that he just practiced keepy uppies and other football skills and watching all these people play football. And I went, okay. I went, Marcus, did you ever feel sad or lonely that you couldn't interact? Because I went, yeah, a little bit, but also I was practicing my skills, and he thinks that the fact he just got his head down and did all his keepy uppies made him very good at football skills. I went, okay. And I said, did you ever go home and ask your mum for a pair of football boots? And he scoffed and went, no, which is very uncommon if you talk to anyone who works with children or anyone who works in children, like a school basis or social work or not. It's very unusual for the youngest sibling to not ask the parent for something that the older sibling already has. And I'm aware of that, and I thought that's a bit odd.
I'm a living example of that as well. My brother got a Man United kit with Ruud van Nistelrooy in the back, and I was like, "Oh, I want one." And then my mum got me one with David Beckham on the back. It was the 2003 blue away kit. And then what happens next season? David Beckham leaves for Real Madrid, and then my mum was like, "Are you sure you wanted that kit, Hamza?" I'm like, I apologize, and I wanted to throw it away. But no, carry on. But that's my thought process.
You apologized. That's impressive.
As a young kid, I was like, I'm sorry for me. And that was the last time I ever got a name printed on the back of my shirt ever. Because I thought, you know what, if that happens to me as a kid, I'm going to regret it in later life. And I'm glad I didn't get names on certain kits as well. And just kind of there like, okay, I'm still going to Old Trafford with these names of people who played here for a little bit instead of actually for a long period of time and are actually legends at the club. But yeah, that's just kind of how I felt. And now that kit is worth like £200-300, that David Beckham kit in blue, because everyone likes that one. I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Have you had that
Um,
situation happen to you?
I have a Manchester United training kit somewhere
Mm.
in my family home in London that's got John Obi Mikel's name on the back.
No way.
I really
Jo-
thought it was coming.
John Obi McKell. Oh my god, that press conference is the living bane of me. I mean, he played for Chelsea, had a couple of good games for Chelsea as a long-standing servant for them. But you're looking at it thinking that was when like we had Jemba in our team. Cleberson, I think, was leaving at the time. Roy Keane was about to go as well. Crazy to see. Um, but yeah, no, I just needed to hear about that from you as well. Sorry, continue what you were saying about Marcus Rashford, about him being very patient as a younger sibling.
So I said, "Did you ever ask your mum
Mm.
for a pair of football boots?" And he said, "No, he didn't, because he understood that his brother didn't get his pair of football boots until he was a bit older. So he understood he had to wait." And I said, "Marcus, really? You never once asked your mum for a pair of football boots, age 6 or 7?" And he said, "Do you think I would ask my mum for a pair of football boots knowing that my brother had to wait? Absolutely not." And I remember I sort of laughed. I went, "Huh?" And again, it wasn't me laughing at him, but it was just the almost incredulity that someone so young could be so cognizant and so aware of his surroundings and so aware of what the people around him needed from him and so aware of what was best for him to do in order to help those as well. And I think you see that in everything he does now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an immensely gratifying experience. Working on those 2 books is the best creative thing I've ever done. And I'm always cheering on because I'm a Manchester United fan, but also a bit more now after our experience working together.
Did you get a signed shirt from him?
No.
No. That would be unprofessional, that would be. Or it could be considered a gift as well, I would say.